All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome again to the Daily Market Analysis. In this video today, we will be looking at how the pound dollar just shot up because of the claimant count and the employment numbers. And we'll be looking at some possible trade setups as the market waits for the US CPI number due tomorrow. But first, okay, I am back. Thank you again for joining me on this session. A big shout out to our new elite navigator. I just found out, well, cool nickname, just found out the channel as well. So, welcome onto being an elite navigator. Now, with that, also a big good morning to Diana. Jimmy, how you doing? Hey, Augusto. Hey, Jumarinas. Hope you're all doing well. If you can, do remember to like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, I have a whole bunch of, I've just been doing videos and all that. So if you haven't already, do make sure you join as the Elite Navigator. I've got educational videos coming up. I've got Trade of the Week videos coming up. I've got a whole bunch of live streams, especially with tomorrow. I might just keep that for members only. So if you haven't already, make sure you join. Um, the YouTube membership. I'm just trying that out. I just started doing that, so make sure you join that. It is a membership. It's something newish, right? Inverted comma newish, new to me on YouTube. So um, you should see the link pop up, or it should be somewhere near my name or something. So go check it out. All right. And let me know as well, feedback. Let me know what you think about it as well. Okay. Hey, Ayakame, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Definitely, Diana, definitely. All right. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free, put it into the chat and let me know. Like I said, today we did just an hour ago have the UK employment numbers or employment data being released, right? And the claimant count changed. The claimant count changed here. Um, is the number of people claiming for unemployment benefits in the UK. And this time it went from 135, got revised down to 102, forecasted 95, came out at 23.7. So less people, a lot less people claiming for unemployment benefits. A good thing, more people are working, so less people claiming for unemployment benefits. And you also see that the unemployment rate for the UK went from a 4.2 down to a 4.1. So a 0.1% drop as expected on the unemployment rate for the UK. Good news all around, and because of that good news all around, what we did see on the pound dollar is a push up to the upside on the pound dollar, and that's also reflected on the euro pound. I laugh a bit when we talk about the euro pound, and then also on the pound yen. So that was, or that is what has just happened an hour ago in terms of the employment data for the UK. Later tonight, we do have MPC members speaking, BOC Governor McCallum speaking. I don't think it's going to do too much of that one, right? But before all that, what do we have from yesterday? Like I was saying from yesterday, there wasn't any major news. We were still um, trading on the sentiment of the NFP from Friday, right? So yesterday, no major news, but we did see prices continue to fluctuate along because of the NFP data that we saw on Friday. If you want to know more about the Friday, what happened on Friday, go check yesterday's video because I broke it down. I explained it in relative detail during yesterday's session. So back to the present, we just had employment data being released for today for the UK. Not much other news through to tomorrow again at 2 p.m. GMT plus 8. We have the UK GDP to be released, zero, previously expected to go to a 0.2. So a 0.2% increase in GDP month to month. If that comes around at 2 p.m. tomorrow, we should see a little bit more upside on the pound dollar again. Right? We were talking about the pound dollar in quite a lot of detail again yesterday. As it set along that support level, we're looking for it to bounce in a particular direction or to move in a particular direction. And then the big thing for tomorrow is the CPI data at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8. CPI for the US, inflationary growth data for the US, 2.9 to 2.6. It looks like we're going to see a slowdown in inflation growth, which is again going to support the Fed Reserve's decision for a rate cut in September on September 18th, 8 days away now. Um, the question still comes back down to 25 or 50 basis points. I think we are pretty close. We're pretty close to a certainty of a 25 basis point rate cut. Okay. Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for joining as an elite navigator as well. Welcome aboard. Now, with all that, I'll tell you more about the CPI tomorrow. And then we have, like I was just saying yesterday as well, we have the ECB with their interest rate decision on Thursday. I've prepared that video. It'll go out right after, almost right after this session. Now, with all that said, I realized that's not set up. Hang on a second. Give me a moment. Okay. Right. So with all that said, let's look at the dollar index. Right, dollar index, like we were talking about yesterday. Right, it was right at that trend line there, that bearish trend line. It broke to the upside right after our session. I'll zoom in a little bit. There you go. Okay, right after our session, that's at 4, it broke to the upside, pushed up to as high as 101.66, came right back down, tested that trend line again, and pushed to the upside. Okay, so it was still, I still do think, let me take all that away for now. I still do think that we could see a little bit more of a push to the upside, right? I think that we could see a little bit more of a push to the upside to test that resistance level again. Then it comes to a very crucial level at that point. But before that, welcome, Diana. Thank you again for joining as an elite navigator. Um, I couldn't think of a better nickname, but we'll do with elite navigator now. Okay, so one thing I want you guys to see here is that we have, if I zoom right out, we have this move, that going, oh, how am I doing? We have that up, test, break, test, and then push up, right? So it's a very, very ugly inverted head and shoulder with that downward trend line. What I'm looking at and why I think that that 102 level becomes very important is that it almost forms a bit of that neckline level, right? And it's almost right in time with the CPI data to be released. So for now, I'm not expecting anything too crazy. I think this will take a little bit of time to develop. What I think is going to happen is the dollar index sits along this area, continues to consolidate along this point. I want to see it push up towards that 102 level to test that resistance. And then there comes the big question mark, which we will answer, or we could answer better tomorrow. If I look at this CME Fed Watch tool, let's see what happens here. 73. It's no change. I mean, slight change, but no big change here. So yeah, I just want to see that move happen first, right? I just want to see that move happen first. Let me move that down. Today being the 10th, you're glad to be part of it. I'm glad you're part of it. Welcome aboard. Okay, now dollar index, what I'm looking for is that it's likely to consolidate along this 101.60 level, could push higher to test 102 round number resistance. Right, that's kind of all I'm looking for on the dollar at this point, at that resistance level. No big surprise here on the CME Fed Watch tool. The only big news would be CPI tomorrow. I think that if we do see that go down, I'll tell you more about that tomorrow, but I think that if we see that go down, we could see um, maybe a bit of a push up, maybe a further push up on the dollar. So it's going to get interesting. I think it's going to get interesting on the dollar index. Remember, I think when it came down to this point, I said we're in a priced in scenario. It looks like we could see it, bounce right back up. So that level was quite crucial. Okay, so for now, I'll keep it there as um, dollar index consolidate along 101.60, could push higher towards 102 round number resistance until tomorrow's CPI data to be released. Okay, welcome back, Christina. Hope you're doing well. Now, with that, anticipating some strength, a little bit more strength on the dollar to push back up, then looking at the Kiwi dollar, right? It's popped down, didn't come down enough to trigger, push right back up, still sitting along that level. I think what we're looking for here would still be the same, right? Would still be at the same point, 6125, 20 to 40 to the downside. So yeah, see that crossing back down. Aussie and Kiwi dollar struggle on weak China imports, local job worries, dollar Kiwi holds is declined. What I'm looking at is that push. I don't need that anymore. Take that away. Consolidating along 50. That's fine. Consolidate, break to the downside towards that point. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to see that happen. So I'll keep to this view at 6125, 20 to 40 to the downside. 6125, 20 to 40 to the downside on the dollar index. We'll keep that as it is. Then onto the Aussie dollar, again consolidated. Look, it's moving exactly the same way. So it's going to do the same. Well, because it hasn't moved, we're going to keep that same view. 6645 maybe this time, 20 to 60 to the downside towards that support. You could go 70, like I said yesterday, 60 would be fine, breaking that 61.8 level. And you would also see here that we have this move down and then a consolidation right across, right? So we wanted to break out of the consolidation and then we could see the downside move. So 6645, 20 to 60 to the downside, 6645, 20 to 60. Let me see. Would you go a little bit higher on your stop loss? You would go 30. I think 30 would be safer. Break down, 30 to push down. Okay, so I'll change that as a 30 to 60 to the downside. All right, good. Dollar is still trying to figure out what it wants to do at this point. We'll keep that as it is. Okay. Now, if you look at this, right, look at this. Kiwi sitting right across has that potential on the TSRI MACD to cross to the downside. Aussie dollar sitting right across as well has that potential for that cross to the downside. Looking at the Aussie Kiwi, no big surprise that it's sitting right across because both the Aussie and the Kiwi are bouncing around in that same level. So it's pushing down. What I'm looking for here, and again, you see that come all the way down. If you take, I'm pretty sure we did this previously. It's come right up to 50. It's come right back down. That didn't trigger. Take that away. So what needs to happen is it needs to break above this point. I would, again, at this point, prefer to see the Aussie Kiwi push down a little bit. Push down a little bit lower to about this 1.08. Okay, what I want to see is I want to see it come down, test and bounce. Then you could be looking at a 1.0820, stop loss 20, take profit 30, 40 to the upside that way. Right, so you're looking for that to come down, test and bounce. This would happen if the Aussie breaks down, which is trying, and then it'll bounce back up as the Kiwi breaks lower, which is trying as well. So it's just about which one is going to move first. When it moves first, then we're going to see that Aussie Kiwi push lower and bounce. Okay, so nothing on the Aussie Kiwi yet, but I do want to see it come down to that 1.08 level and then possibly bounce back up. Hey Lawrence, thank you again for joining as an Elite Navigator. Welcome aboard. Everyone else who hasn't joined, hey, check it out. Do join. I do have a lot of other videos to be releasing to you guys on as a member on the Elite Navigator. Okay. So Kiwi consolidate breakdown, looking for a breakdown. Aussie consolidating, looking for that breakdown. Aussie Kiwi slowly push down to bounce off the support back up. Then onto the pound dollar. Onto the pound dollar, we were talking about this, right? Zoom it right in. We're talking about this, that. Wait, and watch for a break of 1.31 and then a reaction at a support level of 1.3045. It broke 1.31, so we were right here yesterday. It broke 1.31, came close to 1.3045. It came as, take that away, it came as low as 1.3058, and then now it's pushing up. It's pushing up, like I said earlier, because of the employment data that we saw, right? That we were just looking at. So we take these levels away for now, and you look at this pound dollar pushing higher. I do think that there might be a little bit more upside potential on the pound, right? As it breaks that 23.6 level, coming up towards this area. So I want to see it break this point. Oops, what am I doing here? 23.6, break this level. I feel like because of what it's been doing, look, it's had that big move up. It's come down to about that 38.2 retracement level, that support level, and it's bouncing back up. What you want to see it do is one, it's slightly outside of the Bollinger. It could come back in this hour. It could come back in slightly this hour, but we're looking for it to continue pushing higher. It feels like it's a little bit late. It feels like it's a little bit late, but I would say that above this point, above this level here at 1.3140, right? 1.3140, that 38.2 level. Then you go for a tight stop of 20. You can go for a big retrace up to 60. But yes, exactly like Dinah was just saying, could retrace and see if it holds. The thing that I'm hesitating about is because it's creeping outside of that Bollinger, right? It's creeping outside of the Bollinger. So what I think is likely is that it will do that up a little bit to about that point, come back down, and then push back up again in that fashion. I was just pointing at my screen thinking that you guys can see it. But yeah, I'm just thinking that it's gonna sit around there, retrace back down, maybe to a little bit more extent that way, and then push, hopefully push back up. The conflicting idea is that we are expecting some dollar strength, right? We're expecting some dollar strength. So if the dollar strength comes back strong, then that could push this back down. So that's why I have it a little bit higher at 1.3140 just to give it space. I don't want to hit and retrace right back down. Right? I want a momentum that if it pushes up, breaks that level, we can see a big upside, a continuation of that upside. So yeah, it's just going to sit there for a little bit. It's going to sit here for a little bit and bounce around. And also because it's that 1.31 level that it took a little bit to break and test. Now it's trying again. Okay, so 1.3140, 20 to 70. No, let's do 60. I don't think I'll go all the way up. 1.3140, 20 to 60 to the upside. Pound dollar, we're looking to buy at 1.3140. Stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside. Yep. Okay. So consolidate a little bit for now. Then onto the euro. It's Diana thinks the pound dollar is gonna go down. I think even if it does come down, it might just find this support. It might just find this support unless we see massive upside on the dollar. So we'll see what happens. It's either going to bounce around here and push up, or it could do that and then do that. I want to see what happens here or break out of that point. All right. Because the employment numbers was quite good. And we do have GDP for tomorrow as well for the UK at a 0.2. It's going to be an improvement from previous. Might see that lead a push up as well. But you can see how it's being very undecided at this point. Looking for a retrace first. Okay. Now, euro dollar. Zoom right out. Sitting along that low. 38.2. Sitting along that 38.2 level. I think I can take that one away. Okay. And then I will look at this point here. It's doing exactly as we had anticipated. So if you got in there, unfortunately, it would have hit a stop loss on the euro. That'd be a 15 pip stop, very tight stop we had. on the euro just because the support was very close, right? At this point, again, I would be a little bit more cautious on the euro because remember that we have CPI and also we have the ECB with their interest rate decision on Thursday. So I feel like it could be sitting here and waiting along this area, right? So nothing on the euro at this point. On the euro dollar, what I'll be looking for is looking for a test, a retest of 1.10 support level. Okay, come down towards this 1.10 support level. Yeah, because we just have the CPI and the ECB interest rate decision on Thursday. Now, as we see that sit along this point, as we see the pound dollar possibly pushing back up, the euro pound has finally looked like it's going to give us a bit of a better move or clearer move instead of consolidating right across, which if we look at this was talked about on Friday, on yesterday. Now it's trying to break out of that consolidation, the horizontal consolidation, and also that trend line pushing to the downside. Wouldn't do anything. Euro sitting right across with some downside potential. And then pound dollar, if it does push up, we could see this turn down. So same thing as possibly what I said yesterday, looking for it to come down to that 0.84 level. And then we'll look for reaction at this point. Okay, unfortunately, if you look at this, we have just gone through Kiwi, Aussie, it's a wait to sell, not ready yet. Pound, dollar, more, maybe a little bit sooner. Euro dollar looking for it to retest a support level. Euro pound looking for it to retest a support level. So not a lot of activity at this point. If you are hammering out a lot of trades left, right, and center, check it because I don't see that liquidity and the consistent volatility that would make a good trading situation right now. Okay, then on to the US yen. Look at that. We were talking about this on Discord as it was pushing down. I think Linley was saying, yeah, Linley's on the session. Hey, Linley. Linley was saying that he was the first one to warn us that the US yen was moving as planned. Right. This is what we talked about yesterday, where it pushed up into that area and came back down. It did that exactly. Got into that trade. I got out at 50, right? I got out at 50 about there, only because it pushed up. I'll tell you what I did. I got in a little bit earlier, in fact. But I got in and then it pushed down. I was thinking, great, look at the TSR MACD. It was crossing down. So why I got in earlier is because I'll show you. At that point, right, we see the TSR MACD crossing to the downside. So I got in a little bit earlier there as it was pushing down. Then it came lower and I thought it's going to push all the way down. Then it bounced back up. I thought it was going to continue lower. It came back up and then I closed out my trade at about 50. I think I got in about that point. 40, about there. Right? There you go. 40. So I looked at it, bounced back up, tried to go lower, thought I could, came back up, and I'm out. 50 pips. Done. So that was my yen trade from yesterday. I think Jimmy did a 50 as well. I think Lindy got an 80 to the downside, so that was a very good trade. Well done. Take that away. Clear out some of these lines. We have that point. Well, I'll revise it to this point here. Okay. So again, the US yen has been my favorite. As no big secret why, because it has been moving the best among all the other pairs in the recent times. You see that the yen has a big push to the downside, found the support, tried to push up, couldn't, trying to push up again. What you see here is a trend line, a very brief trend line to the upside. What we're watching for at this point is 143.83. You can round it up to 144. So looking for the yen to break above 144. And if I draw it right across, you see that point there. Then we could see the upside. We could see a potential upside move on the yen, especially if the dollar continues to push higher. Right? So I'll be looking for that to 61.8 up there and possibly even higher. That'd be my first level. US yen 144.25. Stop loss will be about 30 pips. Take profit, you have that at 90 to the upside. Right? Nothing yet, but looking for it to push up, break above that point to the upside. So 144.25, 30 to 90. We might just be done with selling the yen. Buy 144.25, stop loss 30, take profit 90 to the upside. Okay, so again, why I'm suggesting that we might just be done with selling the yen is because of how it reacted at this 142 level and bounced to the upside, and now again reacting off this 142 level. I can draw a better circle and bouncing to the upside, possibly bouncing to the upside. We're going to see that happen. Okay. um, Let me know if it makes sense, if it's clear, if it's good. Remember, you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button. And those of you who haven't, Elite Navigator is there for you guys as well. Now, with that, then onto the Euro Yen. Came down, pushed back up. Could have hit a stop at 50. It didn't drop very convincingly, so I didn't get into this. I was too busy on the yen, on the US yen, right? So it pushed back up. Now, euro dollar consolidating, slight downside potential. US yen, we're looking at a possible push to the upside. Euro yen in this case, now if you look at that, if I zoom right out and look at that push down, 38.2 is at that resistance and 23 is right there. Okay, so what we're looking at here is and 61 is fluctuating along 61 as well. Okay, I kind of want to see this push back up slightly. I want to see it come into this area for a push back down again. So look for it to retrace, right? Euro yen, look for it to come back up into this area before we could see a potential big move to the downside. Um, an early move could be 158.60, stop loss 30, take profit 110, right? If you're a bit more risk adverse, then a slightly later or more conservative move would be for it to break that previous low at 157.50 and then to trade to the downside. So that's what we'll look out for on the euro yen. Diana's asking about the euro Aussie. Yes, we can do that shortly, no worries. And Aussie yen for sure. Sure thing, Jimmy. Okay, let me see that. Yeah, I think it might not push all the way. I think it might just find 23.6 and turn down, but that would still be a level that we'll look out for at 158.60. Then onto the pound yen, right? Look at pound dollar. Remember, we're thinking about pound dollar. Well, it's showing that it doesn't like that move, but we're looking for a potential bounce and push to the upside on the pound dollar. So on the pound yen, we're still looking at that to break the resistance at 188 to the upside. So we're still looking at 188.30 with a 50 pip stop and a 150 pip take to the upside. I still like this setup. I like how it's also forming a slightly higher low to push up. So it just needs to break that resistance level a bit more convincingly now. Bollinger is working. It's slightly outside, so it might break, come back in. It's like the pound dollar. It's exactly the same pattern as pound dollar. Might break, come back in, and then push back up. So I'll still look for that. Maybe to a greater extent. Okay? All right. Then, so I know I've got my Aussie, my Euro Aussie, and my Aussie Yen. I'll do that shortly. We'll look at the US Swiss franc. Test and reject. It didn't test and reject. It tested and broke higher. Take that away first. So it didn't push down. Now that whole move is done. Take that away. Don't need that. That low point is relevant. Push lower. Found a support. Double dollar index could push up. Now US Swiss franc. No major news here. It looks like we could see it come back down a little bit before pushing back up again. Or it's going to consolidate in this area. It's a very consolidative. Those of you who are on the Discord channel, it's very consolidative, I was saying. So we're looking for it to break out. I was first thinking that it could push down and then push back up, or sit in that area and then push up. So what I would be looking now would be 18510, very small, 50 pip move to the upside. Stop loss will be tight at 20. Back up towards that 50% retracement area. That would be a nice double bottom to push up on the dollar strength recovery. That would make sense. Yes. Okay. So 8510, 20 to 50 to the upside, but I don't rank this very high. Okay. So we're looking on buying at 0.8510, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the upside. Good. Keep that. Those levels there. It's going to consolidate and then push up. So you can look for that. You could go in a little bit earlier as well if you're comfortable with that. But watch out for that resistance at 8560. Okay. Then onto the US CAD. Hasn't done anything. We said it's gonna sit there, right? If I drew this circle just a little bit longer, like an oval, it's gonna be in that whole consolidation area. So take all that away, and look, if I drew this right across, it's gonna do that, right? And I'm sure those of you who are familiar with chart patterns, that there, who are familiar with chart patterns, you would see this move to the upside. You would see this horizontal consolidation for a potential push back up. Right now, it's still in that consolidation. What looks like it might do is CAD. That's not going to do it. No major CAD news. What looks like it might do at this point is sit in that area. I would actually have that same view, consolidating, retest 1.36, look for downside. All right, so it's consolidating. I would stay the same on that. Test 1.36, reject 1.3590. Stop loss will be tight, no more than 20 pips. Take profit back down, and even more significantly towards that point. So that's what I'll be looking out for. Then again, if it breaks 1.3550, then you got that downside move as well. But I'm kind of looking for it to stay within this range and test to that resistance first. All right, that dollar strength should push it up a little bit. Then after that, see the CAD pull it back down again. I can tell you that that 102 level is going to be crucial. It's going to, all the setup that we're looking at right now is because of the CPI number that's going to be released tomorrow, and also because we're coming so close to that 102, we could see a big reaction at that price level. Okay, just thinking whether it could break down. If I looked at that instead, 1.3545, 20 to 60 to the downside. Let's do that one instead. Let's do that. Right? So even if it does test up, don't do anything. Look for it to break down out of this area to the downside. So 1.3545, 20 to 60 to the downside. Kind of like that a little bit more. Sell at 1.3545, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside on the US CAD. Good. Then on to gold. Push. Well, we were here. It came right back up. Right. Yesterday we said break above 2,500, could trade to 2,515. It got to almost immediately. Right. We were right here. Right after our session, it started pushing back and then climbing back up. It broke above 2,500, got as high as 2,507. It did a couple of very quick scalps on that, and then it's sitting right there, still sitting right across. What you notice is it came up to that 50% level and it's holding. So now, what we're looking for here on gold would be that it breaks above. And this is again counterintuitive because we're looking for a dollar to push up slightly, and yet we're looking at gold possibly pushing up slightly as well. But that's how it looks like. That's how it looks like. It needs to stay above 2,500, like the headliner was saying. We're looking for it to break. So above 2,507, above 25.07, you see, don't think we'll see all the way up there. I think we'll see 25.20. That would be reasonable. Okay, so on gold, it needs to break above 25.07 to trade up to 25.20. Okay, that makes sense. Then onto the Euro Aussie. Onto the Euro Aussie. Got old lines. We got very old lines. So I'm going to take all of that away. We have that trend line holding prices higher. We have a resistance right about there. Let me check. A resistance right about there. Yes, that makes sense. Good. Then a dotted line right here. Okay, and then based on this move higher, no, I'll catch that one to the upside. 23, 38. You see that it's finding this level here, and I would look for this level here to be the big support. Well, not big, but one of the support levels. So now as it comes down, test the trend line and the horizontal level, looking for it to push up. Yeah. So if we're looking at the Aussie, the Euro Aussie, Euro dollar being very undecided at this point though. So Euro dollar being a bit undecided with a bit of that, we're looking for it to come back down. Then Euro Aussie should actually push back down a little bit, but the Aussie, if it does come a bit earlier, we could see it push up. So I just saw Diana said looking for a short. I actually think that the Euro Aussie might not be ready to short now. I think that we could see it push up, then you look for that break, right? Then you look for that break, then you sell down 1 point. Yeah, I want to see that reaction first at this area or this area here. If you're looking to sell, then we're going to see a reaction there or there, which means to sell down 1.6620, no, 1.6615, stop 30, take 75, or we'll be looking for it to push up, test, and reject, and then sell it down from that point at 1.6680, 40 to 130 to the downside, 140 to the downside. I know that Dinah, you'll probably be looking to sell right at the peak there. But yeah, I'll give it a bit of space to see that rejection before I look to sell down. So that's the view on Euro Aussie. I don't think it's ready to sell now. I think that it needs a little bit of time before it comes back down. Or a test and a reject first. 1.6597. 1.6597. I think that might be a little bit too early. I think that might be a little bit too early because unless we need to see what happens on the euro dollar versus sitting right there. Unless the euro has that drop, then it's going to play out very nicely on the Aussie, on the Euro Aussie. But for now, I think it's going to retest this point at 1.6630. Okay. Yeah, let me know as well. Keep me updated. I wouldn't mind getting into a couple of other trades apart from apart from my yen trades. You're most welcome. Then on to Aussie yen, right? Aussie yen, long time ago since we looked at it. Take out those lines. Oops. Oh wait, what did I do? Go back in. Now, long time ago. Take that away. Zoom right. Now let's see that move. I just for the sake of it, let's have a look. We might right. What am I doing? 50. We're just right at 50, I think. Yep. We have that point there. That's a good support. Right? Then, now with that downward move, putting a couple of levels first. We see it bouncing back up slightly to this point here. Okay, there we go. And then a immediate level. No, I like this level up here a little bit more at 50 as my resistance. Now, with all that, thinking about the Aussie dollar pushing down, it shows like it's trying right now, right? Dollar still sitting there, so Aussie is losing ground, pushing down. That could drag the Aussie yen down. US yen pushing up slightly, still a bit undecided. So Aussie yen is gonna sit there. I don't think it's gonna do too much. I want to see it test and push back, right? Or equal low. I wouldn't do anything at this point, I think. I'm looking at this, holding to the upside, test and reject, push back down. Yeah, okay. So what I'm possibly going to look out for on the Aussie yen will be for it to test this level again, this area here, right? Because of that previous high, because of 23.6, I want to see it push up slightly and then sell down, or if it could do that and push back down again. I don't think a I don't think along actually. I don't think because of the Aussie dollar possibly pushing down, so that's going to drag the Aussie yen down. Yes, we're thinking that the yen could push up, but there is a bit of that hesitation level there at 144. So at this point on the Aussie yen, I think that um, might not. Yeah. So I think Aussie is going to drop first, and then after that, yen could push up. That's why I think that it might push back down first. But if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to buy, then it needs to break above that 96 level, right? If you're looking, then 96, above 96, stop loss would be, hey, Chinwei, welcome. 30, take profit will be 120 or there first, hesitation level there. I would I would actually prefer to see a push down and then maybe that. So Aussie to drag it down first, and then after that, the yen to push it right back up again. But it's just in that triangle and that resistance that we need to pay a bit of attention to. Okay. So yeah, let me know. Okay, so that would be it. Now, if you have any other questions, if you're watching this after the live stream, if you're watching this on the video, do leave a comment. Remember to click like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And not a lot of trades for today, a lot of waiting setups. So be a bit patient, be a bit more patient. If you haven't, for those of you who haven't already, do join our Elite Navigator as well. A lot of other videos coming up in that section. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what as well, for all the members, tomorrow at the CPI, I'll do a live stream for all members. All right, we'll do a live trading session tomorrow night for the US CPI and also on Thursday night with the Euro interest rate decision. So live trading session for you guys on the members. With that said, please trade well, trade safe, take care now, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I was going to keep the live stream running, but I don't see prices moving too much. So we'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care now. Bye bye.